Poltergeist is a paranormal phenomenon that has a relation to what people would refer as a spirit roaming around and disturbing its surroundings. With knocks, closing doors, moving furniture, and more, the spirit shows its presence in an attempt to scare the people living there. Poltergeist literally means loud ghost in German, and the curiosity surrounding the phenomenon has been around for ages, and is not something that movies or books have come up with. In fact, the oldest recorded poltergeist problem, as I know of, is the Bingen poltergeist that is said to have occurred around 858 AD. It is said that a farmer had a poltergeist that threw stones, burned crops, and making his farmhouse vibrate at occasions. But it really didn't stop there, because this poltergeist followed him around, which led to the neighbors closing him off. And it also shouted accusations of different kinds. One accusation is to be rumored to have been that the farmer had a sexual relationship with the foreman's daughter. What a nasty little asshole. The lore and histories about poltergeist would fill its own library, but the major part is that it is basically an invisible force making your life living hell. It tries to scare you and in some cases also physically hurt you. While some poltergeist seems to be of low activity, some escalate over time and becomes outright hostile and life-threatening. Of what I can discern, there is usually not a dead person linked to the poltergeist, although some cases claim that. We're gonna take up that later. But it's usually its own entity, and considering the things I read about the phenomenon, an intellectual one as well. And this might be why this ghost is more scary than other ghosts, I don't know. It don't want absolution or travel to the other side, no. This guy, he wants to fuck shit up. There are, as I have mentioned before, several more or less famous cases of poltergeist activity. And many of them have become movies or inspired stories surrounding the phenomenon. I have picked out two of them to talk about. One of them is the Enfield poltergeist, and also I picked out the Danny poltergeist. So we're gonna go through them. Links down below if you want sources or arguments surrounding the cases. The Enfield poltergeist might be one of the more notorious cases of poltergeist activity. So of course I'm having it in this video. The Enfield poltergeist took place in Brimstown, Enfield in England between 1977 and 1979. The single mother Peggy Hodgson reported to the police after two of her children, Margaret and Janet, claimed furniture moving and knocking on the walls. First the neighbors searched the house and they couldn't find an intruder, which they first thought it was. And when police arrived, one officer claimed in a report that he saw a chair move on its own. Although when he was going to sign his statement, he couldn't be sure if someone actually pushed the chair or not. So I don't know if we can conclude that as real evidence, but he stated that anyway. As this alleged haunting continued, more things occurred, as like whispers, demonic voices, claims of levitations, and more aggressiveness shown by the spirit. It was documented by the Society of Physical Research members Maurice Gross and Guy Loyon Playfair, who both were convinced that it was a true haunting. So most of it's recorded if you want to look that up. However, suspicious minds have been digging through the cases and believe it was the two daughters playing tricks. As the case got headlines in several British newspapers, so grew, of course, the skepticism. While nothing has been definitively proven either way, it's a very interesting read, and the case of course has inspired a lot of movies and books from there. I'll leave some links in the description about the case, which brings both sides to the table. I urge you to read them if you're interested. The next case I got for you is another famous poltergeist case. This is usually brought up when you put this thing to discussion, and it's the case of the Danny poltergeist, and it's quite different from most other cases. First of all, it appears to be linked to a person, and second of all, it seems to be linked to an antique bed, which Al Cobb bought for his son Jason. After experiencing things moving to the bed and around the bed, they decided to leave crayons and paper with the ghost. Yes, because they initially didn't think it was a ghost. They thought it was their children playing around. but they eventually came to the conclusion it might be a ghost, so they laid down crayons and paper with it, with the open question of who are you? Apparently, according to the father, Al Cobb, the ghost left the words Danny and 7, indicating that the poltergeist's name was Danny. To further investigate the entity, his family was ordered to leave the house while he left out papers and started to asking questions and hoping to get some answers through those papers. According to Al, the ghost claims his mother died in that very bed in 1899, and that the ghost itself wanted to stay with the bed, and that is why he didn't want anyone else to sleep there. Al also tried to provoke the ghost by taking a fake nap, and that started a series of angry responses. Furniture started flying around and move around, candles lit up, and posters on the wall started to spell out the name of the entity roaming the house, namely Danny. Not only that, but his son Jason claimed to be in contact with several more spirits. For example, the spirit of Uncle Sam, a guy that was there to reclaim his daughter Gracie that was apparently buried under the house. Interesting fact here, her actual tombstone can be found at the Bonaventure Cemetery, which I haven't background checked if he could have actually gone there and checked it out himself and just take the name. So take it for what it is. I don't really think we need to go into counter arguments over this because it's pretty self-explanatory. But as usual, I will leave some links down below arguing both these cases and especially this case. And I really want to thank you everyone for watching my videos about this kind of phenomenon because I really like reading about them and researching for these videos. So thank you very much. If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to get some more Myth and Monsters. Don't forget to check out my Horror Hotel series about horror movies. Don't forget to check out my Twitch channel or my Twitter, whatever you like, or don't do anything of that. It's fine. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you next time. And just to clarify, paranormal activity is not a poltergeist. It's a demon. So, bye.